Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Kayla Nicole 999 and this is 90 Days to Recovery After Narcissistic Abuse. This is going to be the video for day 27. And today we are going to discuss how people with NPD, Narcissistic Personality Disorder, can be highly sensitive to criticism. My emotional support dog, who's not really an emotional support dog, but right now he's offering comfort, is here with us tonight, this evening. He may up and disappear soon. We'll see. He kind of does whatever the hell he wants. He's the one who really runs this household, not me. He's in control. I'm here to serve him. And I'm okay with that. His needs are more important than mine. But it's nice to be able to sit here and pet him, because honestly, I don't get a lot of time just to sit on the couch and pet my dog. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump right into the video. So we're going back to that same Healthline article that I've been using for the last few videos. And of course I will link to that Healthline article in the description, as I have been doing. So the topic today is high sensitivity to criticism. And it says, NPD typically involves insecurity and an easily damaged sense of self-esteem. This can manifest in covert narcissism as extreme sensitivity to criticism. The sensitivity isn't unique to NPD, of course. Most people don't love criticism, even constructive criticism. But paying attention to how someone responds to real or perceived criticism can offer more insight on whether you're looking at narcissistic sensitivity. I'm trying to say the word lurking instead of looking. Anyway. People with covert narcissism might make dismissive or sarcastic comments and act as if they are above criticism. But internally, they might feel empty, humiliated, or enraged. Criticism threatens their idealized view of themselves. When they receive a critique instead of admiration, they can take it pretty hard. So let's just jump into this. I'm not doing well this week. I'm suffering from pretty bad depression this week. I haven't been able to work much as a cam girl. I'm not earning the money that I need. I'm having to make all kinds of changes and I don't really know what to do. I feel like I need to get a job, but I have so many appointments with my bankruptcy attorney lined up in the next few months. And I also got subpoenaed to court to testify against somebody who was harassing me on social media, that I ended up reporting for something else because he was harassing other women as well. And it got way worse, but I'm not going to discuss that because the court case is pending. He is being charged with a sex offense. I am the person who reported him. But not for the harassment of me, for the harassment of this other person. After the court date is over with, I'll explain more in detail what happened to you guys, but until then, I'm not really going to talk about it, obviously. Anyway, I just got notified. I just checked my mail for the first time in weeks and got notified that I have to testify against him, and this is something from years ago. I thought it had just disappeared. So I was already depressed before that, but now I'm just, I don't know. I don't feel like I can really be available for a job. You know, most companies want you to not take any time off at all within the first 6 months. Well, I need time off to meet with my attorney, and then I got to testify in court, and, you know, on-call witness. So far, the trial is set for 3 days. So, yeah, trying to figure out how to make my life work at the moment, because it's really hard to be a sex worker when you're depressed. You know, it's not easy to put on those shows for men while you're depressed. Haven't worked in a week. My birthday's coming up. I gotta figure shit out. But I'm trying to do behind the scenes things. I'm actually proud of myself for getting these videos made, because I almost didn't get them made. So anyway, let's jump into the highly sensitive to criticism. And I'm going to use 2 examples, my ex-best friend and my mom, because they're the best examples I have when discussing narcissism. We're going to talk about my ex-best friend first, because she's actually the easy example this week. There's multiple examples that I could use with her, but we used to get in these discussions. She doesn't like the fact that I ride motorcycles without helmets. And something that I choose to do, knowing full well that yes, I could die. Okay. But I've always explained it as I love the feeling of the wind in my hair. And it's something that I enjoy so much that if I were to crash in a motorcycle accident and I were to die, I would die happily. So that is why I continue to make the choice for myself. You don't have to like the choice that I'm making for myself, but nobody can tell me that I have to wear a helmet. We don't have helmet laws where I live. It's not required. You know, people ride in convertibles too. I mean, if that car rolls over, you could easily die in a convertible also, especially if it doesn't have a roll bar. But do people wear helmets in convertibles? No, they don't. Are you more likely to die on a motorcycle than in a convertible? Yes, but the chance of being involved in an automobile accident is incredibly high as well. Okay, so my ex-best friend would counter with something like, she likes flying, okay? I am personally terrified of flying, but for her, flying is something that she enjoys so much that if the plane were to crash, she would die happy, as I would on a motorcycle. However, if you would try to say, oh, well, I'm terrified of flying, she would get incredibly offended by it. If you would try to tell her that is a terrifying way to die, in my opinion, she would get offended by it. Why? I'm not even trying to criticize you. I'm just saying that I don't agree with your thoughts on a subject. It's not a big deal. Why are you getting so mad over this ridiculous topic? It's a hypothetical situation. There's nothing to get mad about. There's another instance where we were talking and she was sitting there saying that when somebody says that they're not ready for a relationship, that means that they're just not ready for a relationship with you and that it will not go any further. And I tried to counter her on that, because I say that I'm not ready for a relationship, and that has absolutely nothing to do with not being ready for a or with not wanting to be in a relationship with a person. There are people that I absolutely want to be in relationships with. However, because of my depression, because of my PTSD, because of the fact that I'm not financially stable, I'm not ready for a relationship. But she literally lost her shit when I said that to her. She got so mad and she was just like, well, in my experience, nah. I said, we're just gonna have to agree to disagree on this. She went silent. She got so mad that she started giving me the silent treatment on the phone. And so I sat there in silence with her for a few minutes, and finally I just said, okay, well, apparently we have nothing to talk about anymore, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hang up the phone now. This is literally how things would always play out with her if you disagreed with her on anything. She would make all of these false assumptions about people in her head. You know, oh, this person did this to me and this is exactly why that they did it. And if I tried to counter, which I always did, because I feel that I can be a very logical and rational person when I'm not suffering from PTSD and when I try to put myself in the other person's perspective. I can usually read people pretty well. And so I would try to say, oh, well, maybe this is why they did it. And she would lose her shit. No. This is exactly why they did it. I am right about it. You were wrong. I was just like, okay, whatever. And then basically like almost 90% of the freaking time, she would come back to me weeks later and she would be like, well, they did it because of this. She would never exactly say that I was right, but their reason for doing whatever they did that had irritated her, that she made all kinds of false assumptions about, was usually what I had said. So, yeah, she can't handle criticism at all. There's this other time years ago, we were both going to school and she was actually going to go to school for nursing, but she didn't pass math, and apparently one of the advisors or something told her that they didn't think she should do a nursing program because her math skills. Now, I suck at math too. I had to take remedial math in college. It sucks, but you just got to do it, right? This girl completely fucking just dropped out, didn't even go. I don't even know if she went to one class. And now if you bring it up to her, she will totally gaslight you and tell you that she never, I was never gonna be a nurse. That's all in your head. Okay, yeah, keep telling yourself that, because everybody, all of my non-narcissistic friends and people I'm associated with regularly tell me how I have an impeccable memory, and they can't believe how much I remember that they had completely forgotten about, but she just likes to gaslight me and tell me things are all in my head when I remember them clearly. Things were constantly changing with her. And I picked up on it, but I just never put it all together. So let's jump into the story about my next narcissist. So this is the day that I finally decided to go no contact with my mother. And this May, it will have been 2 years since I've gotten no contact with her. I have not spoken to her since this day. I have no intention of ever speaking to her again, unless she gets herself the psychological help that she so desperately needs. Can narcissists change? I think that they can, but they have to want to. And I don't know that my mother will ever want to, because for one, she can't even acknowledge that she has problems. And the first step in changing is acknowledging that you have issues that you need to change. So here's my dog. I have my dog on grain-free food. I've had my dog on grain-free food since he was a puppy when I first adopted him, because he was having major GI issues. Okay, we were constantly in the vet. He was throwing up. Finally, I switched him to grain-free food. He stopped going to the vet. He wasn't throwing up anymore. He wasn't having the issues with his fur that he was having. He wasn't having the dandruff or whatever, like the super dry coat. He was doing so much better. So he has been on this food since he was, I don't know, under 2. I adopted him when he was 10 months old. And a few years ago, they started coming out with the studies that in larger dogs, grain-free food is causing heart issues. which I'm not saying is not true. Okay, I paid attention to the studies when they first came out. I found out, which ingredients to look for, and I try to avoid the ones with those ingredients really high up on the list. Like peas, I think is one of them, if I'm remembering correctly. I honestly don't know. It's been a long time. I know what to order him, I also discussed it with my personal vet. And my personal vet and I decided he has no heart palpitations. He's never had heart palpitations, or there's never been any concerns, We decided because of the GI issues, it's best to keep him on his grain-free food. So that's what we're doing. Well, my mom decides to tell me about this study back in 2018, one day when I'm over there. And I try to explain to her that I'm well aware. I try to explain to her that I've already discussed it with my vet. I try to explain to her what my vet and I decided together would be best for my dog. My mother absolutely loses it. She starts going off on me. Well, you're just a know-it-all and this and that and blah, blah. I got up and I left. But sometimes, you can't keep your mouth shut. So I go to my car and I decide to go back into the doorway. I open that door and I stand there and I say, why can't anyone ever disagree with you? She automatically starts blame shifting. It's your voice that's annoying me, Kayla. That woman's voice is like nails on a fucking chalkboard to me. But if I ever made a derogatory remark about her voice and how literally her voice sets off my PTSD just to be a bitch? No, of course not, because that would be hurtful. Well, she really set me off. My mother used to antagonize me all the time as a child. This was back before cell phones, back before everyone had a fucking video camera right in their hands. She would antagonize me to the point where I would literally have temper tantrums and lose my shit because I was so angry from putting up with her that I would have a meltdown. And then she would sit there and she would look at me and she would say, I wish I had a video camera, Kayla. Oh, I would love to record you, Kayla, so you can see how fucking ridiculous you're acting, Kayla. Well, she was losing her shit. She was blame shifting. She was like literally screaming at me because I disagreed with her. And I had my phone in my hands. And I pulled that phone out. And I said, I'm gonna record you so you can see how you are acting. Ooh, that was the worst thing in the world I could have ever done. That woman was sitting across the room from me. My mom's overweight, okay? She's a big girl, and she does not move quickly most days because she's a big girl. I'm not trying to shame overweight people at all. I'm just trying to put it in perspective that my mom is overweight and she's often in pain and she is not a person who can move around quickly because of those things, okay? But anyway, that woman comes flying off the couch. She's across that room faster than I've ever seen her move before. She is physically abusing me, fighting with me to grab my phone out of my hand, screaming at me, don't you record me, you fucking little bitch. So I'm sitting there struggling to keep my phone. I at the time was a rideshare driver. I needed my phone to work. I had to have my phone to work, and this woman is trying to break my phone because I had the nerve to disagree with her and because I had the nerve to record her. I got my phone back from her. She decides to leave. And by this time, I'm in full meltdown mode, and I can't be nice anymore. She walks outside her apartment, or her condo, and I follow her out. And I'm screaming at her. I'm saying, I never asked to be born. You chose to have me. Your life was not ruined by me. It was ruined by your choice to have me in the first place. I said, you're a fucking narcissist. And I'm screaming at this woman, like just screaming at this woman, and she's just ignoring me. And I go and I get in my car and I drive as far as the gas station, because that's as far as I can get, because I just started ugly crying the second I got in my car. And I'm frantically freaking texting my therapist, because I now have videos of my mother physically abusing me, trying to grab that phone, trying to physically fight with me. Yeah, maybe she wasn't hitting me, but she was still physically abusing me. A 35-year-old woman, she was still physically abusing. Well, then my mom does what she always does, and she starts frantically texting me after I leave, apologizing. But it wasn't an apology. It was I'm sorry you feel that way, which is the most narcissistic apology one person can make. It's not taking accountability for her behavior, you know? She's still denying everything that she's ever done. And I still have all of these text messages, and I sent all of these to my therapist along with the videos. And we go back and forth for a little bit, and finally I said, one apology does not make up for years worth of psychological abuse. I feel that the only reason you are apologizing to me is because I finally have proof. I will not protect you anymore. And she huffs and she puffs and she's like, fine, share those videos online. Anyone who holds such a gun to my head gets the same treatment. Pull that trigger, see what you get. And I responded, I said, well, I already sent the videos and screenshots of this whole text conversation to my therapist, which I did. And my therapist replied to me and she said, go no contact. And that's what I did. That was exactly what I did. I have not spoken to my mother in almost 2 years since this incident. And I have no intention of talking to the woman ever again. It's hard, you know? But what happened? Did I get any retaliation from her? No. It was only my ex-best friend who had issues enough to retaliate against me and stalked and harassed me for years. But my mom, she didn't do anything. Not a damn thing. We just haven't spoken. You know, there has been some drama between me and other family members because of it. They think that I need to reconnect with my mom when there's family emergencies, and I just had to finally explain to them, no, I don't. My therapist told me to go no contact, and I need to go no contact, and I'm sorry if that upsets you. And I'm sorry if I can't be there for the family during these times if my mother is here. But my mental health is more important than putting myself in a position to reconnect with that woman, because what happens when I reconnect with that woman is it's what happens when you reconnect with any narcissist, you know? It starts out fine for a certain amount of time, and then you do something to piss them off, or they're just desperate for narcissistic supply, and all of a sudden they're attacking you again. My mental health has improved so drastically since I cut these people out of my life. I will never allow them a place in my life. Am I depressed to the point where I can't get much done right now? Yes, I am. But am I depressed to the point where I am feeling suicidal? Absolutely not. That's one of my biggest improvements since cutting these people out of my life. and using some natural alternative treatments, amino acids and crantum, and we'll discuss all of that in more videos. But anyway, I don't react well to psychiatric medication. I get all of the severe side effects, and psychiatric medication actually makes me worse instead of better. So I go for the more natural treatments, but that's a whole nother video series, you guys, and I'll get there someday. So anyway, but I struggled with suicide ideation, and I attempted suicide many times. For many years. I mean, it began when I was like 11, 12 years old. But I'm not suicidal anymore. The depression, yeah, it still comes back. But, you know, just, I mean, fuck. I'm able to make this video before I would get so depressed that I couldn't even get out of bed, you know? I would go 3 weeks being unable to get out of bed. Well, today I got up and I showered, and I kept up with an appointment that I had, and I am now making these videos. So clearly my depression, although still bad, it's better than it's ever been, and I don't think that I would be here right now if it wasn't for going no contact with my narcissists. Going no contact with your narcissist is something that I highly suggest if you're able to. Walk away. Don't give them access to you. You deserve a better life. And with that, I am going to end this video because it was a lot longer than I intended it to be, but that usually happens with these videos, and I think that's okay. Anyway, guys, like, the best way to support me is by subscribing to my channel. Of course, I'll, you know, put that little subscribe button down there. I'm also I still gotta play catch up on finding those links, you guys. Like, I gotta go through and watch these videos. I can't just link to a video that I haven't watched, and right now I don't have the energy to watch a lot of videos, because sometimes it takes watching a few videos to even find one that you want to link to. But I will catch up eventually, I promise. I need my life to settle down. I need to start making stable income so I can start keeping up on these things, you know? But I will find a video to link to eventually. It's great when I find a video from Angie Atkinson, because I love her videos, and I don't necessarily feel that I need to watch them all the way through. I can just make sure that they're on topic. Like, I trust her. I trust what she is going to say about narcissism. But sometimes, you know, I'm talking about topics that she hasn't discussed in her videos. So then I have to go through and watch these other videos and try to figure out which one is the best one to link you guys to. Also, with that, it's March. I'm a Pisces. My birthday is on the 10th. Other than, you know, subscribing to me and watching my videos, if anyone wants to send me some birthday donations, I will gladly accept birthday donations this month, you guys. Hit that Venmo, hit that Cash App, comment, and let me know that you want my Venmo or Cash App or whatever, and I'll throw it out there for you guys. If not, that's okay too, but, you know, it's always nice to get some birthday love. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me again, you guys. And I will see you next week. I haven't decided what we're going to discuss next week yet, but as always, I will link to that, or I will post that in the discussion. I'll talk to you next week. Bye, guys.